Yeah, I start my running first time here, yeah?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so,
start here. I just start here with, I guess with Paul. Yeah, I just like play football before, but just start running. And yeah, now I just love running, you know. Yeah.
This is sadness.
This is love.
This is fun.
This is respect.
This is adventure.
This is kindness.
This is identity.
This is learning.
This is family.
This is hope.
This is community.
This is nostalgia.
This is freedom.
This is life.
Yeah. I used to run here, but we have a group here, but you know, guys just maybe everybody, I don't know, because of the COVID classes.
Yeah.
So,
I think one of the difficulties, well, the running group was a Jog Scotland group, and Yacoub was one of our coaches as well with that group. So we had quite a good number. We were getting about 10, 11 people
I guess
at
yeah,
the height.
11, yeah.
What we realised that a lot of it was about more than just the running. So much of the running group was really meeting at the charter afterwards for teas and coffees and carrying on the conversations that had started, and the sense of community really formed around going for a run, or first initially meeting at the charter. Some people would even get there early and hang out there a bit, and then we'd go for a run and then come back. So the charter was this great kind of focal point, and it was also that was how we became quite visible in the community, so people could see us getting ready for our runs, doing our warm down, stretching, and so a lot of people came just because they saw us. And I think a lot of the folk who came through the English class as well, but that's been cancelled at the moment. So we're looking at the English class at Park Nazarene. So we're looking at coming back to that in a couple of weeks. So hopefully it will all come back again. But it was an interesting kind of lesson that the running was important, and it was great to see people make improvements in their health and fitness and mental health, but it was also a lot more than just the running.
I know, that's so nice that it linked the kind of learning and conversation, but then also with fitness, exercise, because definitely, well, we find we're both artists and we obviously do the same sort of thing as you, but it's more from an art perspective, so getting people to meet around a table to make something inevitably brings out good conversation. Yeah. Really helps, I think.
There's something to be said for shared activities and common goals, and running's a great leveler. The sense of accomplishment that you have, and even the sense of progression, no matter what speed you're running, it's still it's the same emotions, it's the same sense of accomplishment, and you'll find that there's not really a snobbishness about people's goals. So everyone is, we had one guy who, after maybe 3 months, he was able to run a whole mile without stopping, and that was absolutely brilliant. It was a huge accomplishment for him. And we had a few guys we had one guy who had, previously played football at quite a high level, and he was so happy when his pal was able to run this mile, because it was such a huge accomplishment. He didn't think he could have done it from the outset, but he got there, and so it's a great leveler in that way, because no matter what your goal are, everybody knows what it's like to reach and to accomplish that goal, and it's a good thing in that way, and it doesn't really require the needs for kit, and it's pretty basic. You just need a decent pair of running shoes.
There's no rules to get lost in translation as well. It's very universal.
Yeah. It's a very individual sport, running and athletics, but there is within that it's in some ways it's very solitary, but it's always better with a group, and that's why I think, especially since lockdown, we've seen more people joining running clubs and you know, trying to find a place where they have support for their own individual goals within the context of community, which is a quite a nice dynamic that you have within running that I don't think you get with other sports in the same way, because it's very much about your own personal best and your own goals and what you want to get to, but you tend to get those personal goals better if you're with other people, you know.
It's very true.
Have you got any goals then with your running this year? Like, once your knee's better, have you got?
For me, after my knee, maybe just, you know, be like fit, and then after I can prepare for something. But I don't know, my knee.
Yacoub, he's far too humble actually, because I think we found early on that he's an excellent coach, and he does very well with, you know, working with all levels.
And are you able to do any coaching with your new running group?
Yeah, if guys coming, then always, you know, sometimes guys, I meet friends, you know, they say, oh, we wanna run, and then I say, yeah, if they come, then I can start, you know, try my best, and, you know, can do some running.
I wouldn't I just couldn't run and talk at the same time. Especially if you're having deep, meaningful conversation.
I mean, sometimes it's just nonsense, and it's just what happened in the football last night, and that's fine, you know. And sometimes it, you know, Yacoub was talking about an English test that was coming up, and one of the other refugees who was running with us, a guy from El Salvador, said, "Oh, I can help you. I've done that test. I can help you prepare." You know, so sometimes it's, you know, you get conversations about our health or our mental health, or sometimes talk about the football or whatever sport was on the TV, or all sorts of things. But so the conversation can vary, but I think it still kind of builds that sense of community. It doesn't all have to be deep and heavy, I don't think.
That would be very good. Yeah.
And there's some people who wouldn't run, but then would just come to the charter and then would meet us after the run. So it, you know, there was a lot of, I think it was a good introduction to something in the community as well, which was quite exciting.
You know, there's lots of ways that you can be involved, even if you don't
particularly like running. Yeah, I think parkrun have been brilliant as well, and quite often we'll run the parkrun route. It's a good goal to aim at, and it's also, again, it's another supportive community, and they were. The Tollcross Park were very generous at the beginning. They provided us with, I mean, we asked for donations of shoes and running kit, and I was overwhelmed with how much stuff we got. I mean, we had bags and bags of running clothes and shoes, and so we still have almost like a library, I guess, of running kits. So if someone comes, so a new runner, when they want to come, we can provide them with a decent pair of running shoes.
Wow.
That was really cool. It was lovely to see the support from the wider community.
This is a hard 5k route though.
Yeah, I start my running first time here, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Start here.
Did you run much before you came to Scotland or Glasgow? Did you run back home?
No, not really. I just started here with Paul.
That's amazing. So did you know that you were such a good runner before?
I just liked to play football before, but then I just joined, you know, Paul, and then we just start running, and now I just love running, you know.
The success of the group, I mean, it really came down to word of mouth, really. And so we had the group from Parkhead Nazarene English class coming, and then there was guys in the charter who would say, oh, I'd like to try running, but I can't really run yet. I could maybe, we could maybe do a walk or something. I said, well, walking is part of it as well. So we, as a group, run the faster guys will do out and back. So maybe run around a tree and come back. And so it was really just the word of mouth that got it going. I think that's one of the things we've maybe lost since lockdown is it wasn't, it was all very organic, and it was about just interpersonal connection. It didn't really have anything to do with flashy online promotional stuff. It was really just people talking to each other and inviting each other to come, which was brilliant. But I'm hopeful we're moving out of it now, so should be back soon, and hopefully we'll get some more runs this summer. And I knew Yacoub for a couple of years before we started running, but it was really only during running that a story or something will come out, and he's told me some amazing stories about Sudan as well. Stuff that I never knew before, but sometimes something will spark a memory, because remember you telling me about the birds. Your father had eagles, but
eagles,
we'd seen a buzzard, I think, in the park, and it started.
I don't know in English, but I can say by Arabic. I know by Arabic, but I don't know by English. Yeah, that's bird. But sometimes, I just Google it and then it show. Paul.
I know.
That's bird for.
I've been able to work on some of my Arabic vocabulary as well.
It's that. Bit both.
It was all derelict ground, and we came up with the idea that it'd be a good place to have raised beds in a community garden. So it took nearly 2 years from start to finish to get the place open, and 2 different bits. All this bit here you see was all the original phase 1, owned by Shettleston Housing Association. The bit you see over there is owned by Glasgow City Council. So they discovered that there was a need for more raised beds, so they approached Glasgow City Council and they said, you can have the land as long as you grow food on it. So it's developed quite a bit from the original concept. There's a wildlife garden in it, there's a community garden. So all the raised beds that you see are all rented by the local community, by organisations, schools, nurseries, and we have some training beds as well. So it's a tenner a year, which to a lot of people is not a lot of money, but to people in this area it's a week's electricity or a week's food, so it's quite a big issue. But for the tenner you get your own set of hand tools, a set of gloves, and plus you get all the support, all the guidance, all the seeds, the plants, the use of the kitchen, the use of the barbecue, the pizza oven, everything that's on site you get to use. So it's not just an allotment, it's a community, and it's a community group as well. But I'll give you a walk around the place, and then so we have our own beds as well. We have our own strawberry beds, our own rhubarb beds, but every other bed is all rented by local people. If you get a raised bed as well, you also get a quarter of a greenhouse. So the greenhouse you can grow your own stuff as well. The whole place is overseen by a committee, so the committee decide based on what I tell them what's needing done and what's not needing done. All the area along the back is all the fruits that we grow. So some cherries, some brambles, gooseberries, plums, red currants. So all the stuff that's grown up there is all shared at the kids club that we run. We run a club called the Smellawella Club, and that's for 7 to 12-year-olds. And the aim of the club is to teach young people how to grow their own food, how to look after it, and then how to cook what they grow as well. So they've got their own cooking stuff, they've got the use of the kitchen, and they cook their own stuff. So this is a community garden used by the local community, the Girl Guides, the Smellawella Club, the local nurseries, and we usually have an event in here every August, the Fun Day, but COVID meant we couldn't have it this year, and we're not and we never had it last year either. So, and this is a wildlife garden. Again, this is.
Oh, this is lovely.
We can't leave it as wild as we want. We have to manage the grass, but we have to provide areas for wildlife as well. So, so we've got about 8 really big frogs in there. We've got newts as well. Lots of tadpoles. You can see all the tadpoles over in the corner there. But again, we try to keep it as wild as we can, but we also have to manage it. So it's
brilliant. Yeah.
It's pretty self-sufficient, but it's also not widely known in this area that we're here. A lot of people walk past and they don't even know what we do. So we try to raise the profile of the club as well. Especially the Smell of Well Club. It'd be good to get more kids involved in that.
I mean, I used to ride Willow around the East End.
Yeah.
When it was a bit mental. So, me and my friends at like 14, 15 would literally go on hacks. Once my other friend fell off and her horse started to run home, nearly ended up on the motorway. It was so dramatic, but it happened quite frequently where people would fall off and their horse would just run back to Rowney without them. Because we could ride to like Mount Vernon Park, just over there, and around Garra Hill and like up to Baldo Castle. But we had dogs chase us, and then like people would go down to the McDonald's at London Road on their horse sometimes, just on their horse. And it's quite mental to think back, because like if you think of 14, 15-year-olds, they're pretty much children, and our ponies were not like the safest ponies either. We're just kicking it about. We stand in the housing estates, finding a bit of grass to gallop on.
Did you ever get in trouble, like with the riding school, ever like, you girls need to stop going about your
No,
ponies?
it was kind of like normal. But it was a good community. We used to do like jump nights every couple of weeks, and all of the local yards up there would come and compete. It was all very working class. You don't expect that from like the horse world. But everyone's just like, Dad's a taxi driver, Dad owns an ice cream van. It was all very much like that. We all kind of stoated around in our Adidas joggies with socks pulled up to the knees, and people would get drunk at the farm show. There was one boy and a heartbreak, young love at the stables. We would throw each other in the bathtub that was filled with water for the horses. It was all dirty. And it was next to the golf course, so when it snowed, we would go on the golf course and like sledge down it. That was really fun. Halloween discos every year, and like dance to like Christina Aguilera's Dirty. And
it's a very like girl orientated place, the stables.
Yeah, drama, but it was fun. We used to just have so much fun. Like we had a snack van run by like this older couple. Yeah, they were really sweet. They had like pick and mix, and they had like chips, and we just hang out at the snack van all day and go do stuff with our horses and play hide and seek around the farm and stuff.
I mean, it's quite, in a way, it's quite idyllic. Like if you...
Yeah, like Heartland, but East End of Glasgow edition. Yes. Like instead of galloping through the Canadian mountains, we're just like galloping in Mount Vernon Park and getting chased by Jack Russell. Kind of thing.